haven't run since '86.
Well, it's hard to describe. I guess those that have been in a big race like the Daytona 500, and anybody who's run Indy knows that it's a very special feeling to be in the greatest race in the world, and I'm very proud to be here and to be a part of the Indy Racing League. Many years have gone by that we've tried and had problems, should have been in, maybe didn't, because of mechanical problem or, whatever. For whatever reason, it was a few years of heartbreak, but we never gave up. We never gave up hope. We know we've had confidence in our abilities. We got with a good crew, and that's what it takes, confidence in the equipment. And, of course, I know what the Lord's put on my table, so we're still ready to go racing.
Hey, listen, I hate to rush you, but drivers meeting at 4 o'clock out at IRP for the Silver Crown race. You better hustle. No rest for the weary. Good luck to you tonight.
I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Johnny Parsons will make his 12th start in a race his dad won way back in 1950. And, boy, these guys over here are the reason he's able to do it.
Doc, he is going to do the Silver Crown race tonight, right?
Absolutely. Couldn't wait to get out there.
Tell him I need a ride over there. I need somebody that can get me through the traffic in a hurry.
I guarantee he can do it. If he can't, we'll get Billy McNaughty. These guys, after what they did this week, guys, these guys can do anything.
Parsons will be on TV again tonight as ESPN2's Thunder goes to Indianapolis Raceway Park for the Silver Crown cars, and they're screaming in my ear, "You were supposed to do this commercial 5 minutes ago. Hurry up and get us to the break." We will come back with more. We're live at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, anticipating the activity across town tonight on Thunder. Congratulations, Parsons.
877 cars, trucks, and minivans on sale now at Worthington Ford in Long Beach. Look, here's a 93 Ford and F-150 pickup, $79.95. Here's a 93 Ford Aerostar, $79.95. Here's a 94 Ford Taurus, $79.95. Here's a 92 Isuzu Rodeo, $69.95. Here's a 93 Ford Thunderbird, $99.95, and financing no problem. Worthington Ford in Long Beach. We're on the San Diego Freeway at Bellflower Boulevard, open till midnight.
Introducing a very special automobile. Being built in limited numbers doesn't make it special, nor the fact it's available for a limited time. Even adding air conditioning, automatic transmission, and AM/FM stereo isn't that unusual. But when all this describes a Honda Accord at $17,390,
nice.
Special sounds downright inadequate.
Track of everything that happens in the world of motor racing? You drive with us. RPM tonight, the ultimate wrap-up of the day that was in the world of motor racing. Monday through Friday at 7 and Sunday at 8, only on ESPN2.
We're back at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and we're talking with Johnny Parsons, who just made his 12th Indianapolis 500. Let me remind you real quickly that RPM tonight has all the action from around the world of motorsports every weeknight at 7 o'clock with John Kernan, and then on Sunday night at 8 o'clock Eastern time with Kenny Mayne. You were, your face lit up. You were beaming almost as much as Parsons when he pulled in on that cool-off lap.
Well, I think it's just the nature of the Indy 500 that what other race is there that there's so much emotion just for making the race. He went around on what you might think as a victory lap. He was waving to the crowd all the way around after he qualified, came into pit lane, fist in the air, jumping up. The crew was absolutely ecstatic. I mean, there's no other place that you can have that kind of emotion. When he didn't even put it on the line, he just got it over 220 and said, hey, I get a chance to start.
Part of the reason is the effort that you put into getting here. In their case, it was the team fixing the race car. In the case of Scott Harrington, as we've documented a couple of times this week, it was him selling his classic 77 Porsche, his fiancée selling her car, pooling their money to get an old Lola together, mostly in boxes, put the car together, brought it here immaculately prepared, smacked the wall with it, and now his situation remains something of a question. And for an update on that, I'd like to go to Mike King.
Dave, certainly Scott Harrington's story has been well documented here at the Speedway. Everyone, I think, pulling for you at this point, and what appeared to be a lost cause a couple of days ago now appears to be much brighter. You were just down slipping into the Richie Hearn backup car, and the deal, you say, is just about done.
Yeah, they're trying to finalize all the details on it right now as far as the people involved in our program, the people involved in Richie's program. So we went down and tried the car on and made sure everything fit. And the plan is if they can get everything done here, hopefully in the next 15 or 20 minutes, and we're going to take the car out immediately thereafter.
How quickly did this deal come together? Because yesterday we thought there was really no chance of this car being given up for perhaps another driver.
Well, we just, we were talking to John Della Penna, and we talked to him again last night, and he indicated last night that, he would, try and do something if the circumstances were right. And, we had some sponsors that came on board after the crash that, they knew our plight and they wanted to help out. And we had a couple of sponsors that committed. So it's just all, since last night, it's just been kind of a whirlwind. And, it's, little by little, it's been getting done. And finally to the point that all parties agreed on everything. It's just a matter of signing some paperwork and getting things done.
Take us back, if you would, to the incident. Obviously, something on the car broke. You were unable to steer through the turn. I know that has to be a frightening situation for a driver.
Yeah, but, you don't have time to be frightened, really. You're trying to do everything you can to keep it from hitting the fence. And, I was turning the car for all it was worth, but it just didn't want to turn. So, fortunately, the first hit wasn't real severe. It took the right front off, but it glanced off the wall enough that it could have been a lot worse. And then by the time the car spun around and we hit in four, we scrubbed off a little speed. So, I feel real fortunate that we walked away from him. Kind of banged up and bruised up and been sore for a couple of days, but obviously we saw yesterday the downside's a lot worse than that. So, I feel real fortunate to have this opportunity to potentially climb in this car and go back out there and try and get in the show.
You, the team, you've dissected the situation. Obviously, you've seen the tape several times. Any indication right now what was the cause of the accident?
Oh, we've got some ideas. We've got a couple pieces that we're looking at that appear to have, some problems with them, and we're going to have USAC look at them and confirm, our thoughts on that. Until then, it's fairly obvious something let go when the car sits down on the right rear like that, and you can't steer it. And up until that point, things were going fine. And the thing is, we were running pretty conservative. It'd be different if we were running the thing, 11 tenths, and we were just getting the thing up to speed, and we had, plenty of room left. We were being real conservative, and it's real unfortunate when something like that happens, but it's part of the game. And obviously, it was a 92 Lola, and the car has been around for a while. The guys did a great job checking the car over, but even Magnafluxing and Zyklon parts, things happen, and brand new parts break. So the guys, it's disappointing for me, but it's really disappointing, I know, for the guys, and it disappoints me for the guys because they worked 18-hour days to put this thing together. But hopefully we can iron out all the details of this deal, and we can get out there today and get the car up to speed and get it in the show and give the guys something to do on race day.
Well, this guy certainly has deserved an opportunity to, at least if nothing else, try to qualify for his first Indianapolis 500. You heard Scott Harrington refer to many of the processes that the USAC safety officials here use in order to determine the safety of these cars. Many of these cars, even though they are not brand new, are very, very safe. Our Marty Reed takes a look at all the procedures used to determine just how safe these parts can be.
In the spring of 1936, speeds of 125 miles per hour loomed on the horizon here at the famed Brickyard, and safety became a major concern. Eddie Rickenbacker, owner and president, had ordered a thorough investigation into the increased accident rate at the Speedway. Simultaneously, Magnaflux Corporation was pioneering the development of non-destructive testing equipment that could determine when a metallic part was defective before it actually failed. Thanks to this early Magnaflux unit, critical flaws were found in a staggering 60% of the steering arms and front-end spindles inspected prior to the 1936 500-mile race.
The quality and reliability of components in a race car obviously are important to a driver. Well, they're also important to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and to the sanctioning body, USAC. The United States Auto Club, right here in Gasoline Alley, has a complete quality testing lab, and the process is very complex.
Tech inspection takes on many forms, like microstructural analysis, which uses low-powered microscopes to examine the surface of components for fractures.
You can see a lot of cracks. There's a radial cracks running this way. So there's cracks here and here and here and here all along there. So this is a case where we had a component that we were examining for a team before there was any problem. They didn't know there was a problem with it. Identified the possibility of a crack in the inspection here, and then documented that and resulted in not only the taking of that component out of service, but I believe there were a number of others at the same time that we also kept from going on the car. So a lot of what we do is preventive.
Another method to detect cracks that are not visible to the naked eye is magnetic particle inspection. Electric current is passed directly through a test part and covered with a fluorescent liquid. The unseen cracks create a magnetic field and become highly visible under ultraviolet light. In 1950, the first magnesium wheel was introduced to the Speedway, and by 1951, 90% of the field made the change to the new wheel. So a rule was passed mandating that each wheel be inspected by an NDT method.
There's quite a bit of criteria even to have a wheel be accepted by USAC to run. We catalog every wheel. We know where every wheel is for its whole entire life as long as it's used on a race car. We x-ray and dry glow those wheels. We stamp them to make sure that they were good right before they come here to the Speedway, and do it again during the month. Because of the miles put on them, because of the loads put on them, because of the tires being changed on them, they do have the most normal abuse.
From early May until race day, mechanics submit more than 7,000 parts to USAC for non-destructive testing inspection. And it's worth it, because in the eyes of USAC, winning is no accident.
And with that, we'll take a break and come back with more. We're at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and you're not supposed to be seeing us sitting there in the dark. It was a little surprise just for you folks tuned in at home here on ESPN. This is Johnny O'Connell. We'll come back with more right after this.
We'll never get the copier fixed before the meeting.
It's handled.
If your office equipment ever breaks down, no matter where you are in the business world, remember, nobody responds like Danka. Only Danka offers copiers, fax machines, and digital systems with this world-class commitment to service.
How'd you get here so fast?
I took a few shortcuts. Danka, world-class products, world-class service.
A lot of engines perform on race day at the Indianapolis 500. And no matter what machine they're powering, they're expected to put it all on the line all day long. And when it's a Briggs & Stratton engine, well into the night, make sure your power equipment is powered by Briggs & Stratton.
For immediate release, former divisions of AT&T communications experts going freelance after 125 years. Bell Labs coming with us. Available now. Lucent Technologies. We make the things that make communications work.
The only weapon more potent than Jaromir Jagr is Mario Lemieux, and Pittsburgh's got them both. But Van Beesbrook just grounded the Flyers, and the Panthers are on the prowl. It's the conference finals as the Penguins take on the Panthers tomorrow at 7:30.
We're back at Indy. The consensus in the truck is that Despain is in the dark most of the time anyway, so folks would not have known the difference. We're at Indy Time Trials. It's day 3 here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The crowd's gathered up behind pit road, where right now things are relatively quiet. Again, these lulls are pretty common in time trial day. The two big flurries of qualifying activity are right at 11 o'clock when they open the racetrack, and then at the end of the day. So we've finished the first, and we're waiting for the latter.
Well, of course, that all relates to track temperature. The track temperature is coolest in the morning and then cools down again, what we call happy hour. So later in the day, when the shadows start to come across the racetrack, that's when it gets fast.
We want to take a look at the entire starting lineup here. We have 30 of the 33 positions filled. 3 more still to come, so let's take a look at those who will make the show. This, of course, the Team Menard entry on the pole after the death yesterday. The pole sitter Brayton. Tony Stewart will likely move over to that pole position, assuming the car is withdrawn. Davy Jones will start outside row 1. And then we move to row 2. Eliseo Salazar, Eddie Cheever, another of the Team Menard cars. And on the outside of the second row, we'll find Buddy Lazier, bouncing back from the injuries that he sustained earlier in the IRL season, driving in pain. Roberto Guerrero's hard luck at Indianapolis. Well, he'll start from inside row 3 and be flanked by Alessandro Zampedri in what is now an army of Scandia cars. He'll be in one of them, and Michel Jourdain will be in another, 19 years old, the youngster from Mexico. Buzz Calkins comes here as a rookie and the series point leader after winning the race in Orlando that kicked off the IRL season. He'll be flanked by Davey Hamilton in an A.J. Foyt car, the super modified driver out of Idaho, and then Mike Groff on the outside of row 4 in a Derek Walker entry. Michele Alboreto, the Formula One veteran, is on the inside of row 5, starting position 13, alongside Stéphane Gregoire, who was so spectacular in his first appearance here at the Brickyard. He'll be in the middle of row 5. Outside is Mark Dismore, rebounding from the crash here in 1991 and qualified at over 227. Richie Hearn, the rookie, starts inside row 6, starting position number 16 with Johnny Unser, alongside Unser, the nephew of Big Al. John Paul Jr. for his 6th 500 will come from the outside of row 6. The only woman in the field is Lynn St. James. She'll start her 3rd 500 from inside row 7. Jim Guthrie, the rookie, is alongside at 222.394 miles per hour, the qualifying speed. They all qualified the first day. Ari Lyondike came back on the second day to retake the track record. The only former winner in the field starts 21st. Scott Sharp and Marco Greco are side by side in row 8. They are teammates in A.J. Foyt entries. And on the outside of that row will be Robbie Buell, who starts in 24th spot in his first Indy 500 start. Paul Durant will ultimately be the man on the bubble here as he starts in row 9 at 225 miles an hour. Rayson Gardner and Brad Murphy rounding out that row. Qualifiers we've seen today are Johnny Parsons, Fermin Velez, and Billy Boat, along with Murphy. So 4 drivers have made the show here today. It's been an intriguing month in a lot of regards, but ultimately it doesn't seem to me that it's changed very much. There was so much speculation about what this Indy 500 month was going to be all about. Still seems to me basically the same. Fast guys go out the first day and run for the pole. About 20, 25 cars get qualified, and then it's 3 more days of everybody scrambling and trying to get in the show.
Now, of course, the key is there's 1 row to go. There are 3 spots that are available, and we're pretty sure there's more than 3 cars that have the kind of speed to do it. So the all-important bumping could take place as early as this afternoon.
And we'll be here to cover it for you on ESPN. When we come back, we'll find out what Robbie Buell does in his spare time in the month of May in the city of Indianapolis.
To make this beauty look its best, I use Armor All Protectant on the vinyl and rubber. And for the paint, now there's Armor Plate Paint Protectant. It shines, protects, and really makes those colors pop. New Armor Plate. It's like Armor All for your paint.
Conditions like these are torture on engines. But you can also damage engines in a more familiar setting. That's why there's an engine treatment for stop-and-go driving from Valvoline called TM8. TM8's 8 friction-fighting ingredients significantly reduce engine bearing wear. Even in high-temperature conditions, adding TM8 gives oil up to twice the protection. Hey, driving 150 miles an hour is tough on engines, but so is hardly moving at all. TM8 from Valvoline, because driving is more stop-and-go.
FedEx has over 35,000 trucks to handle your 2-day package. Cost about $12.
UPS has over 130,000 trucks for your 2-day package. Cost about $6.
The U.S. Postal Service has over 200,000 trucks for your priority mail 2 to 3-day package. Cost exactly $3.
So, 12, 6, 3, what's your priority? Priority mail from the U.S. Postal Service.
Nothing makes a car look hotter than shiny wheels. So I use Quicksilver Wheel Cleaner from Armor All. No scrubbing, just spray and rinse to get the brake dust and grime ordinary cleaners can leave behind. So every time you wash your car, use Quicksilver from Armor All.
Here at the Brickyard, a little cloud cover moves across the speedway for a moment. That'll drop those track temperatures, which have climbed to an all-month high here. It's amazing how just that little bit of a haze can drop the temperature. Temperatures, as you said, the heat is the enemy of speed, I think is the way you put it.
Well, if someone was going to make a qualifying run and they saw a couple of these clouds come over, they would think they were really blessed, because it's amazing. In the space of 5 or 10 minutes, a couple of clouds can make a big difference.
Let's talk about hats, helmets. I want to go to Gary Gerald and get an update from down in Pit Road and Gasoline Alley.
Dave, you're well aware this is the hottest weather that we've experienced thus far during the month of May here at Indianapolis, and you can't help but wonder what it's going to be like on race day a week from tomorrow. Well, the folks at the Bell Helmet Company have been thinking about that as well, and they've got refuelers in mind. Normally, they build crash hats for drivers only, but this is the latest special custom-built helmet for refuelers, and what makes it special? Very simple. A couple of fans that have been embedded right down here and right down in here that run off a pair of 9-volt batteries. And the refueler on race day has cool air that comes up through little vents right here, and I can feel it on my hands, which comes up and helps the visibility on his visor, and of course directs cool air up under the helmet to his head. Keeps him cool under very hot, trying race conditions. So if you've got a 90-degree day and high humidity, the guy with this pair of 9-volt batteries that's got one of these on, he's got a distinct advantage. And it looks like right now that they're trying to build as many as these they possibly can before a week from tomorrow, that roughly half of the field refuelers are going to have the comfort of this kind of a helmet at their disposal. Nice little wrinkle, thinking ahead to race day from the folks at Bell. Let's check in now with Mike King.
Thanks, Gary. Here in the Joe Gosick garage area. And Joe, a few hours ago, you were thinking about having to get a 92 Lola up to speed. Now you've got a 94 Lola from Team Scandia, just finished getting fitted for the seat, and you'll be hoping to go out soon.
Yeah, they're looking to go out within an hour. We're getting everything set, and myself fit in the car really well. And Andy Evans is ready to roll me out there as soon as we're ready to go. So they're setting up out there on pit lane, and shortly I hope we'll get a run here and feel this car out a little bit.
Well, let's take a look, if we can, at this seat. And, well, actually, they've just pulled it out. It's right back here. And, Joe, you told me it got a little warm in there for a second.
Well, it's a chemical reaction with the foam, and it forms around you, and then they trim off what they don't need. But it's very warm. Just the chemical reaction alone is probably 80, 100 degrees. So on a hot day like today, it's probably not the thing you want to be doing, but that's what we had to do to get us fit to the car.
Once you slid into it, it looks nice and comfortable, and I know now, obviously, as time is of the essence. Get out, be able to shake it down, and still feel comfortable enough to try to get 4 good laps in.
Exactly. Andy has informed me. I'm working with Ian. I forget his last name right now, but he's the engineer on the team, and they ran the car the other day at 224 miles an hour. He's going to change the setup a little bit to get me comfortable with a little push situation, tied into understeering problem. So we don't want to get the car oversteering at all. So he's going to set me up and work me back to neutral with it, and hopefully I can get comfortable within a minimal amount of laps. There's no big hurry here, but hopefully things will work out and come together relatively quickly.
You got this car, you needed a garage, you found a garage, now you need a crew. How is that process going?
Well, I think we've found all the people we need, and hopefully tomorrow they'll take over and we'll work the car out of another garage. Team Scandia is full of people, full of cars right now, and their personnel, I'm sure, is at a max. So we had to come up with our own, and I think we've got that situated.
Joe Gosick, the super modified ace, looking to become a part of the 80th running of the Indianapolis 500. He has a new seat, he has a new car, he has a new garage. He's putting together a new team, and this guy's going to be ready to go in a matter of a couple of hours or so. Let's go back upstairs.
Well, one of the interesting things, Mike, to me is that people down in the garage area are really getting good at making these seats. Danny Ungaius has had one made for him as well. And for those who have had a custom-made ski boot, it's very similar. What happens is they actually take a trash bag, they put 2 of them together to double line it, they pour 2-part foam in there, and on a day like today when it's warm, you have to be very careful how much you put in there because it really expands, and as he was telling you, it gets warm. But the guys down there really feel as though it gives you a real advantage so you can feel the car, as Danny Ungaius can here right at the apex of the corner.
Picture is live. Ungaius back at Indy after a decade trying to get Butch Brickle's car up to speed. We'll take a break and come back with more after this.
If it's Saturday night, it's steak night. That's just the way it's always been.
And I always use my favorite steak sauce.
It's tradition.
What?
Yeah, sometimes I'm in the mood for something different.
Something rich,
robust,
something zesty, hearty.
It's there, and it's great.
A steak sauce for me? You serious?
Can you do that?
Yeah, all right.
New A1 Thick and Hearty. Try it now at Subway on a steak and cheese sub.
I deserve a ride on a Polaris watercraft. 25 reasons. Number 1, I am a people person. Number 2, very clean ears. I've been known to scoop the poop. Women find me attractive. And number 25, children are our future.
Get a life vest free when you buy before May 31st.
If you think stress is tough on you, consider your engine. Traffic jams, towing and hauling, even idling can lead to damaging wear. That's why Castrol is introducing Syntec Blend, the only synthetic blend that combines Castrol conventional oil and Syntec molecular components for greater protection than conventional oil in severe driving conditions, because too much stress can be fatal. Castrol Syntec Blend, added protection for severe driving conditions.
I got to find out what that building is. That's the tallest building in Indianapolis and our most common bump shot back in from break here as we come back to the Speedway. 6 miles away. That's what a big lens will do. On a warm and humid day, big crowds gathering, enjoying the sunshine. When they open the gates at this place, there are people in this city who will just automatically flock through. Doesn't matter what's going on the racetrack. I think if they opened the gates on Wednesday in the middle of the week and just said you can come out, they would come out and just sit here and look at this old place. It has that kind of magnetism. It has that kind of feel about it.
I think the magnetism comes directly from the speed. There's something about the speed here, and I think the narrow racetrack as far as how it's perceived high from the grandstands and just the configuration of the turns really shows you the speed probably more so than any place you're ever going to watch race cars.
Some of the oddities of this place, and behind us is the main grandstand. At the front straightaway, a yard of bricks. If you stand in that grandstand and a car goes by at 240 miles an hour, the tires hit that yard of bricks, it's like a rifle shot. The crack will make you jump the first time you hear it. When you come here, there's the yard of bricks right there. Those are actually bricks from the original paving of the racetrack. It was gravel and tar back in 1909, and they actually built the place as much as a test ground as a racetrack. They ran races, but it was much more a testing ground for automotive engineers. The guys who came here weren't so much race drivers, they were people interested in building cars.
Well, you know, now it's come to the point where racing engineers are the ones that really produce the speed here. And it's interesting to me, with the new pavement that we have new for this year, it doesn't appear as though the sunshine shining on the track has made it as slick as it has in years past. Guys like Tony Stewart can go out and run 232.4 just in the heat of the day. So there is a chance we can see qualifying runs anytime now, but if you're smart, you'll wait till the shadows go across the track.
It has been a brutal place over its history. In 79 previous races here, 40 drivers have died. Yesterday, Scott Brayton, the pole sitter, was killed. There has not been much activity in the Team Menard stable since then. Tony Stewart was out for a while today and cut a few very quick laps, actually, at 232.4 miles per hour. Now we understand that there is some activity beginning to happen over at Team Menard, and perhaps before the day is out, we will find out the plans for the car, which is scheduled to start from the pole position. Let's go to Mike King.
Yes, Dave, you hear them right now firing the car that Scott Brayton qualified for the inside of row 1 last Saturday. Talked to Tony Stewart just a couple of minutes ago, and of course he said that he would prefer not to go on camera today, and certainly we honor those wishes because it is a very difficult day for all the members of Team Menard. But he did tell me that he will, and Mark Dismore will also be in this car a little bit later. As you said, Tony was out in his car today doing laps in excess of 232 miles an hour. And I'm telling you, the guy is really hurting. Certainly he is. And he said to me, he said, you know, doing 232 miles an hour today, certainly it is as much fun as it was a couple of days ago. So he will take Scott Brayton's qualified machine out. They have not yet, though, made any determination of the status of this machine. Dave?
All right, thank you, Mike. Tough day for Stewart. He's been such a darling of the media here and produced. I mean, he came through with the middle of the front row, but now that hard lesson that this place can bite you, and Tony is feeling the impact of that here today. So we'll give him the day off, and we'll come back with more from Indianapolis Motor Speedway right after this timeout.
¿Has escuchado la X97.9 recientemente?
Y la verdad que sí estoy enamorado.
Con tu música favorita.
Y le daré con tanto amor todo el tesoro.
Los mejores artistas.
Si tú no estás.
Los más recientes éxitos.
Me gusta, pero me gusta.
Y 40 minutos de tu música favorita. Continua cada hora.
La X
97.9.
Those Ford guys have been a little quiet lately, and whenever that happens, something good is coming.
And here it is. Right now, you can lease a new $19,490 Taurus for just $265 a month for 2 years. Or you can buy a Taurus with just 2.9% APR financing. Just think, a new Taurus equipped the way you want it for just $265 a month or for a low 2.9 APR. Lease or buy. It doesn't get any better than this.
Day, May 26th. The top IndyCar drivers in the world, Emerson Fittipaldi, will come to Michigan International Speedway, Al Unser Jr., to take the green flag. In the dawning of a new era in motor racing, the first ever US 500. Live from Michigan International Speedway, 2 p.m., only on ESPN.
All right, we appreciate it. We're back at Indianapolis on what is, for the moment, a quiet Saturday afternoon at the Brickyard, anticipating the drop in the temperatures that will give us the opportunity for some additional runs. We do have 3 positions left in the field. As for Buzz Calkins, he is qualified inside row 4. That is 10th starting spot. He's the point leader. He was the winner of the first race at Orlando. What are you going to do after you win? Hey, I'm going to Indy. You remember that line? Let's get to know this kid that a lot of people think carries the future of the IRL.
He's known simply as Buzz. In 1987, as a 15-year-old teenager, Buzz Calkins and his family were spectators at the Indianapolis 500 for the first time. The race made an indelible impact.
Your blood starts boiling and you get goosebumps, and it's pretty exciting.
Like his father before him, Buzz had begun racing go-karts, and sitting in the stands at the greatest event in motor racing only whetted his appetite to someday race there himself.
That was a turning point right there. Anyone who goes back and sees that spectacle, it's hard to say that you wouldn't want to do that, I think.
Buzz soon graduated to Formula Fords, only to find himself racing against the likes of his father. The arrangement made for some heated family races, including one in which the senior Calkins was prepared to take the checkered flag.
There was one race where he was in the lead, and last lap I came up and inside of him on a corner, and he claims that there's no way that I had enough room, but I see it differently.
Coming down the back stretch, and I see this car coming up on me, and I thought, well, he's not going to be much of a factor because I don't have far to go. And as I looked in my mirrors, I could see it was Buzz, and I thought, well, he's not going to be a problem. He'll let me win this race anyway. Well, he put me in the air, trying to pass me where he shouldn't have passed, and put me out in the field. And the last thing I saw was him taking the checkered flag, and they separated us for 30 minutes.
That was needless to say the one time that my racing career almost came to an abrupt halt.
From there, it was on to 3 seasons of Indy Lights, where he progressed steadily with podium finishes a year ago in both Phoenix and Milwaukee, finishing the season 6th in points. Calkins still found time to go to Colorado University, graduating with a double major in economics and history.
I think basically my main reason for going to college was to have something to fall back upon if the racing didn't work.
It was tough trying to race, especially his first year in Indy Lights, and go to school at the same time because the professors, of course, wouldn't let him out like they would the football players.
As a youngster growing up in Denver, Colorado, Buzz Calkins was just your average teenager. He tried skydiving, bungee jumping, the Baja 1000, even running with the Bulls in Pamplona.
Buzz is a real laid-back, relaxed kind of guy, and you would never realize that he's kind of a thrill seeker. So he went and did it.
Go to a couple of Rockies games here and there, but not nearly the fan I used to be.
But don't you remember when you probably have the only collection of 7-Eleven cups of all the baseball players? We had to drive to every single 7-Eleven all over town to get the whole set of 12 cups. We couldn't do it illegal. They had to have a Slurpee in every single one of them.
All summer.
You did.
From the balcony of his downtown apartment, Buzz can take in the beauty of the Denver skyline, Coors Field, even the Great Rocky Mountains. But Calkins is never one to sit still for very long, and working out and running remain a part of his daily routine.
That's another one of my goals for this year, is to run the New York City Marathon in November.
When he's not running marathons, Buzz also finds time for community work. He's actively involved in the Natural Ties Friendship Drive, an organization designed to support programs for individuals with disabilities and to provide opportunities for natural and age-appropriate interaction between people with and without disabilities. When he's not traveling upwards of 180 miles an hour in an Indianapolis car, Buzz Calkins still goes fast.
In a lot of sense, the skiing is pretty similar to racing as far as, you know, it's got the same feel. Getting into rhythm is kind of the same as in a race car. You know, if there's a lot of the same disciplines, but plus, you know, I guess you kind of like the speed aspect of the skiing, and it's great, a lot of fun. You can see back behind me, it's obviously beautiful up here, and it's a very relaxing way to get everything off your mind, but you still, you know, get a little the excitement of the whole speed of the whole thing, and that's just what skiing does for you.
Though he led 130 of the 200 laps in Orlando, the victory wasn't quite as easy as Buzz made it look.
At that point, I was worrying a lot about my temperature. The engine was starting to overheat, and so I kind of had my mind occupied on that. We were riching up the motor, and I was actually riching up the motor so much that I pulled the knob off. And then you see the checkered flags, and that's when it really hit me. It was like, whoa, you know, we just won this thing.
To win it was just mind-boggling.
With a victory in his very first Indianapolis car race, Buzz Calkins has left a favorable impression and becomes one of the early favorites in May at the Brickyard.
Buzz is a perfect driver for Indy. I mean, his style, just lay back, you know, plenty fast enough.
Everybody has said, you know, no matter who they say you have to respect the place.
I've worked with some of the all-time greats, Rick Mears, Big Al, Danny Sullivan. He's as good as any of them, really.
I'm flattered and I'm proud of him. I've always felt he had talent.
I think we have as good a chance as anybody.
He's just a great kid, and he deserves, you know, whatever he gets because he's just worked so hard for it.
Well, you take a look at Buzz Calkins' race car, and Kenny Anderson told us moments ago they're getting ready to go out and try to get in some full-tank hot weather runs for the first time. Buzz Calkins is standing alongside. You've not had an opportunity to really work this mile at length under these type of conditions. Concerned at all?
No, I don't think we're concerned. We spent most of the week breaking down the car and rebuilding it and getting that ready for really carburation day. But now that the weather's like this, you know, we want to go out and get an opportunity to see how the car is going to handle over a full tank and see if we can't, you know, at least know where we are somewhat.
Now, you're a little bit behind schedule today. I understand you had some clutch problems earlier that you were going to try to get out in the heat of the day, virtually at the time of day you'd be on the track on race day.
Right, yeah. We've had some problems with the clutch engaging too soon, so I think we figured most of those out. But, yeah, ultimately we would like to have been out about 1 o'clock at race time. But, you know, if we don't get everything done that we get today, I guess the weather's hopefully going to be like this tomorrow, and we'll get to run, you know, tomorrow at about race time.
All right. Well, the race car has just left the garage. They're going to want you real quick. Get out there, have fun, be safe.
Thanks, Gary.
Buzz Calkins, a man of so many different skills. Looking forward to a week from tomorrow.
We're going to take a break and come back with more with Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Buzz Calkins, the series leader in the Indy Racing League.
I've seen every card there is. Thousands of cards. Super 8's VIP card. It says, congratulations, your reservation is guaranteed, and you get 10% off. Life's great at Super 8.
Okay, now don't get Grandma too excited.
She has been running on the same Duracell battery since the Ice Age.
Wow, those Duracell batteries sure do last.
The Copper Top. No battery is stronger, longer.
Hi, I'm Kyle Petty. Experience a whole new world of truck accessories with Dahl's Better Built products. The name says it all. If it's not better built, it's not.
Excuse me. The people who invented things that make it possible to watch this show or use voicemail or a cellular phone are no longer part of AT&T. We're Lucent Technologies. we make the things that make communications work. Sorry for the interruption.
Wow. Don't it make you feel good to be alive? Huh? Sorry, I was kind of hitting close to home.
Here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, let's look ahead a little bit. The second day of qualifying is coming up tomorrow. We actually come to you a little later than we have been throughout this month-long marathon. We'll be here at 2 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow on the Deuce, kicking off our coverage of the last day of time trial, so we hope you'll be here for that. The 5 o'clock show is going to be on ESPN. So at 2 Eastern, we're on the Deuce, and at 5, we're on ESPN. Now, today, we're also going to hop networks. That's coming up at 4:30. We have our costume changes all set to go. You need to get your remote button ready because 4:30 Eastern time sharp, we're going to hop from ESPN to ESPN2. We talked about what would happen if that happened in the middle of a run. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think there'll be anybody out there.
No, I don't think so. I think we will see some qualifying runs by the end of the day, and I'll bet the other 25 cents back to you that we will see a full field by the time we go off the air today. We may even see some bumping in our late show. That'll be interesting to see if that happens.
One of the most likely guys to jump into the field today, well, we think he's been a most likely candidate most of the month, but has struggled in the last 48 hours, is Johnny O'Connell. Let's get his story as we go to Jerry Punch.
And, Johnny, they're getting ready to lose a quarter upstairs. I think the field may be full by 6 o'clock, and you may actually be one of the guys that fills the field out. Now, you were out running earlier. Why are we back in the garage, and what are they trying to do?
You know, we're still having boost problems. We found a problem earlier, and what we've had to do is shortcut my adjustment in the cockpit. So right now, the only way for us to adjust the valve is back, by me coming into the pits and then the guys working in the back of the car and changing it there. But it's popping pretty low just because of the way the barometric pressure is today. I'm only getting like 44.6, 44.7, and then it pops. And so we're not really getting the horsepower that we really want out of it right now. But, there's still plenty of time left in the day.
Now, what have you run today? We talked this morning on the ESPN2 show that you weren't getting even up to 44. That was going, and we're talking about 45 inches of boost pressure, turbocharger pressure back going into the manifold to help bring up the horsepower. What do you run, 217 and change?
217 and change is the best I've seen on my dash. And, with as hot as it is, I don't think that's all that terrible. Certainly we'd like to be better, But as we start, as you get more power, it's changing, the car a little bit, and so we're having to adjust it at the same time. So we're kind of fighting two evils here, and right now the guys are doing everything that they can to make sure she runs good come about 5:30.
Well, what can you do? I mean, can you? The folks may at home ask, well, why don't they go get another valve? I mean, what do the rules say? Can you take that valve off and go get another one, or do you have to make that one work?
We got to make that one work. They're back checking it right now, making sure it's running at the same specs as everyone else, and it's our job to really tune that thing as close as possible without it opening. The fact that it's no longer cockpit adjustable makes it a little bit difficult for us, and you lose a little bit of time coming in the pits, taking off the engine cover, doing a change. But that's kind of the situation that we're in right now, and got to make the best of it.
Well, the last hour, 5 to 6, they call it happy hour, and it would certainly make this young man happy if it cools down enough for him to get his 1995 Reynard Cosworth in the field here for this year's Indy 500. Dave?
All right, thanks, Doc. Ari Lyondike, fastest official driver in the history of Indianapolis Motor Speedway, owns the 1 and 4 lap record set here a week ago tomorrow. We'll be right back.
Conditions like these are torture on engines. But you can also damage engines in a more familiar setting. That's why there's an engine treatment for stop-and-go driving from Valvoline called TM8. TM8's 8 friction-fighting ingredients significantly reduce engine bearing wear. Even in high-temperature conditions, adding TM8 gives oil up to twice the protection. Hey, driving 150 miles an hour is tough on engines, but so is hardly moving at all. TM8 from Valvoline, because driving is more stop-and-go.
Cars, they're cool. True Value,
official hardware store of NASCAR, IRL, IROC, and garages everywhere. So hey, come in the True Value and get a gallon of Gojo Pumice hand cleaner and Rubbermaid's 8-gallon Action Packer tote.
The Porsche 911 Carrera was crash tested in this secluded building. To Gerhard Royce, who tunes the radical suspension. To Ivanka Madsen, who stitches a cabriolet top that takes 14 hours to make. And to Stepan Rebrovich, who builds the more powerful engine by hand. This building was the perfect place for these crash tests. Why? Because it meant they didn't have to watch.
Back at Indy, the track is yellow. Randy Tolsma is about ready to go out. Let's go quickly to Mike King.
Yeah, Dave, here at the north end of the pits, Randy Tolsman, the 93 McCormick Motorsports Lola. And Randy, I know this has been an anxious afternoon for you, ready to go out there, and you really don't have many laps in this car yet.
No, certainly, we've done a lot of hard work in the car, and it's taken a lot of time. We're just real proud of the guys. They've worked real hard on this team, and they've been here at 6 in the morning every morning, and they were here till 10 last night. So it's not a lack of effort. It's just, some hard work and some situations have came up that haven't really been pleasing to us. But we're okay. Everybody's head's still up, and we're still going to give it our best.
Now, will the timetable, will you try to put it in the show today? Do you think you have enough time, or will it look like it'll be a final day qualifying run?
Well, it'll probably look like tomorrow. We'll have to certainly make it some drama for the people watching, but we'd love to put it out there in today, but I don't see it as happening. We got a lot of work in front of us, and we're just working slowly to get up to speed, so I'm comfortable and the team's comfortable, and if the timing's right, we'll certainly try.
That's Randy Tolsma here in the McCormick Motorsports Lola, hoping to put it in the show. Looks like, though, it will be a final day qualification attempt. Dave?
Well, let's pick it up down here if we can. We got Scotty Harrington. And, Scott, we talked about the fact that we're talking about Randy Tolsma getting a chance to go out. Now, you're sitting here waiting. Obviously, you're not in the driver's uniform, so we're not as close as we hope to be as far as getting your deal put together with John De La Pena. But the opportunity is there, hopefully, if they can get all the I's dotted and the T's crossed.
Yeah, we were ready to go out about 30 minutes ago, and, it's just kind of finalizing things. We've had a little glitch as far as one of the sponsors that we're dealing with it's a sponsorship that's committed, predicated on the car making the race. So we're trying to clarify how we're going to handle that situation, whether we're going to turn the funds over to some that team, or there are a number of variables, but we've got to get that. Obviously, the funding has to be in place before the deal can happen, and unfortunately, we've got a good portion of the funding, but the remainder is from a sponsorship that's committed only if the car's in the race. So obviously, it's a chicken or the egg situation. Do we can't go out without the funding, but we can't put the car in the show without the funding, and vice versa. So it's, we're just kind of waiting right now. I mean, they're ready. I've been fitted to the car. The team's ready. Our team is ready. I'm ready. So it's just a matter of, everybody, all the people involved in the deal, trying to get everything together. We've got a couple other people that have jumped on the bandwagon and trying to help us out. So we'll see what happens.
Dave, it's the same old story. They've got a car, he's got a helmet, but someone's got to have the money, and they're sort of in between right now, and time is running out.
As much as we talk about things that are new at the Speedway, that is nothing new. We've seen that so many times before. It's expensive to run one of these things around here. You don't just stick it out there and hope you get in the show.
It is, and I feel for Scott Harrington because he is so close to getting in the car. He's already actually sat in the car. The deal is so close to being put together. And I tell you, it is more nerve-wracking to try and put one of those deals together than it is to go out there and stand on the throttle. He wants so much to put that helmet on, go out there and just do it, because that's what a race driver does. This other stuff is a pain.
All right, Scott Harrington continues his quest for dollars, and we take a break and come back with more from Indianapolis Motor Speedway as Tony Stewart prepares to take to the racetrack. We'll be right back.
The 1997 Indy 200 at Walt Disney World. For auto racing fans, this is the ultimate fairy tale come true. The breathtaking spectacle of Indy racing just a short straightaway from Cinderella's castle in the Magic Kingdom. Stay at one of Disney's magical resort hotels with free transportation to and from the race. Imagine being in the heart of Disney's 8 theme and water parks where you can have it all. January 25th, 1997. The Indy 200 at Walt Disney World. For your ticket order form, call 1-800-822-INDY.
It's a major breakthrough.
Formula 2001 Super Protectant provides the most advanced protection against fading, drying, and cracking. And Formula 2001 has more active shining ingredients than Armor All. But what if your car's surfaces are already faded? See how Formula 2001 restores and protects vinyl, rubber, and leather. With more active shining ingredients than Armor All, Formula 2001 is the Super Protectant. And for 12 months of protective shine, get Finish 2001 car polish.
Speed World coverage of the third day of qualifying for the Indianapolis 500 has been brought to you by Valvoline DuraBlend, the #1 selling semi-synthetic motor oil. Team Menard has rolled the pole-sitting car for the 500 out to the line. Let's go to Gary Gerald.
Well, David, a team with very heavy hearts is about to try to put what has been such a tragic 48 hours behind them and go back on the racetrack. Team Menard has a car here on the line. Tony Stewart has just put the helmet on. He's about to climb into the cockpit of that car and try to find speed and start thinking about focusing for a race that is 8 days away. Jan Bika summed it up so well yesterday in one of our shows when he said when a driver puts the helmet on and gets into that cockpit, he finds a solace. He finds a focus. Tony Stewart is trying to find that solace and that focus right now after a devastating loss to him personally, to this team. Our hats are off to them. The resiliency of racers is absolutely amazing. But business does go on here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And right now, this team is trying to find that something down inside, something deep within them, to put aside the grief, the hurt, the pain of what happened just over 24 hours ago.
And of course, the decision that they have to make, are they getting this car ready for a spare car? Because yesterday Scott Brayton was out doing the duties of a spare car, scrubbing tires. Or will they actually try and put someone else in the race car? We don't want to speculate, but obviously that would be the two reasons why they'd bring this car out at this time.
The big guy right there is Larry Curry, and Jerry Punch is standing by with him. Let's see if we can get an answer to that question.
Unbelievable how difficult it must be for this team to come out here. And Larry, I know you've been through this before. It never makes it any easier, particularly when you lose someone so close. On behalf of all of us, our condolences and sympathies to Team Menard, yourself, and to all the Brayton family. How do you get past this?
Well, it's very hard. You know, it's a deal where we came over here with a goal in mind and with the people in mind to help us accomplish that goal. And Scott was a big part of that. And yesterday's turn of events makes us all come out here today and operate with a very heavy heart and a tear in our eye. But Scotty was a great competitor, and he was a good racer. He was a great qualifier, and as he proved on Saturday. And but he would be upset with me right now. I mean, for a long time, he looked to me for direction when we was running the car, and
so much emotion. Dave?
That's going to wrap up our coverage here on ESPN. If you've got the remote, click over to the Deuce. If you don't have the Deuce, call your cable company. We'll be back on ESPN2 with more from the Brickyard.
When you're in Pittsburgh, it doesn't matter whether you're coming down or going up. The signs are all the same. A third Stanley Cup for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Their fans are believers. They've made it this far. Why not to the end? Who'll take him there? At 5:36, he arrived for this game. Mario Lemieux, the Eastern Conference Championship next. Mario Lemieux and the Pittsburgh Penguins were supposed to be